Boxing Truth here, back with another video. Make sure to smash that like button, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Alright, let's talk about the fight last night and the just the weird narrative from people at ringside, the media, people who watched the fight that I noticed. And Manny Pacquiao, for being a legend, being a big name, being a star in the sport, he's the only big name in boxing that just doesn't get any A-side treatment. He could have a close fight, he could have a competitive fight, and just because the guy is doing better than expected, he somehow gets the wrong end of these close decisions. In a fight that was kind of similar to Jeff Horn, you had an unheralded opponent, or not the biggest name guy, doing better than expected against Manny. And that's really what happened last night in this fight, because Ugas on my card didn't beat Manny Pacquiao, but Manny Pacquiao also on my card didn't win the fight. I had it a draw. It was that type of fight. It was close. It was very competitive, much more than I expected it to. But Ugas, he played it safe in in terms of activity. He didn't overextend himself with volume. He was very patient. He waited for Manny most times, and he tried to do a Marquez. He would wait, counter, only punch what Manny would punch, and try to, Marquez him with the right hand. And he was successful in terms of being competitive, landing some shots, but he took some leather tonight, man. In that fight. I mean, look at his face. I mean, that doesn't look like a guy that, according to a lot of the media, the fans, that clearly beat Manny Pacquiao. To me, that doesn't look like a guy that clearly won the fight. The reality is, Ugas had a close fight with Manny Pacquiao. Did better than expected. But the reality of the situation is, had Ugas had this type of fight against Errol Spence, had he had this type of close fight against Keith Thurman, or any other big name that's high on the PBC roster, not a Manny Pacquiao, for instance, had he had those type of close fights with those names, he loses a clear decision. Just like he lost a clear decision, well, he lost a decision on paper against Sean Porter. Ugas had this fight with Manny and Ugas was closer than the Ugas Porter fight. I mean, Ugas clearly beat Porter, but he didn't do enough to get the decision. But somehow, and he lost the decision. But he does even less against Pacquiao. Doesn't win the fight on my card or in my eyes, and somehow gets no resistance in getting a close decision against Manny. But the reality is, he had a type of fight where he wouldn't have gotten the decision had he fought an A side PBC name that's high on the that's important to them. Had that been Errol Spence, had Errol Spence had that type of close fight with Ugas, he would have gotten the unanimous decision. It's just crazy that Manny, not for once in his career, can get something go his way on the scorecards. It's a damn shame that Manny Pacquiao gets treated like this. Can't even get a close decision in fights where he is favored to win, and the opponent B side does better than expected, but yet he still gets screwed. Manny Pacquiao didn't have a great performance. It wasn't. It was sloppy. He was missing a lot, but he still put a lot of leather on Ugas. And Ugas at times he appeared that he could have been on the way out of there in that second half part of that fight, around the 8th, 9th, and 10th rounds, where Manny was having a lot of success. I gave Manny Pacquiao the 11th round, and Ugas needed the 12th round on my card to make it a draw. But it's crazy that Manny can have a close fight with an unknown B-side and still not get a decision. But any other superstar or with the name recognition of a Thurman or a Spence, they can have a close fight and still get a decision. And Porter can still get a gift, even though he didn't beat Ugas in their fight. It's fucked up how boxing treats Manny Pacquiao, man. 8 losses, not even close. This fight was a draw. Jeff Horn didn't beat him. Mayweather bum ass didn't beat him. Everyone knows that. Marquez is the only guy in this century that really decisively beat him with a clear-cut victory. Bradley didn't beat him. Morales got a close decision. Thought it was the right call. So in this century alone, he's really only had 2 clear definitive losses that you could say he lost the fight. And every other time he got robbed or wasn't given the accurate or correct scorecards in a lot of these fights. It's a damn shame that the Spence fight didn't occur. I mean, that was the fight that should have happened. That was the fight we wanted, and we would have gotten a better fight, man. I mean, Ugas, he did better than expected. You know, he competed, he fought well, but he didn't do enough, in my opinion, to get a decision over a legend. Played it a little too safe, didn't throw enough punches, but did better than expected, but still got the benefit of the doubt somehow. The Spence fight would have been different. Spence would have been a lot more aggressive. He would have threw more punches. Would have given Manny Pacquiao more opportunities to land more of his own. That's the fight that should have happened. And now Manny Pacquiao is going to go out in what was a forgettable fight, really, between Pacquiao and Ugas. Had his moments, but it wasn't the fight we wanted or we should have gotten. We should have gotten the definitive conclusion at the end of Pacquiao's career. Should have gotten that opportunity to showcase himself against one of the big top name welterweights and considered the top 2 in the world. But instead, Manny Pacquiao goes out in another controversial decision. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.